Yes, we are blessed with so many resources, the rock, everything. At least it beautify our environment. Plateau is a nice place to stay. It's full of hospitality, everything. At least it's home to be.
I love Plateau State primarily because of the weather. I love cold weather. If it could be cold like this 13 months in a year, I'd love it. The terrain is also very beautiful. The people in Plateau State are also very, very friendly. It's a lovely state. I love Plateau State.
I love Plateau State because environment.
Hello Nigeria, I am Becky Marijamu. Welcome to Newsline and Eid Mubarak to our Muslim viewers. The Eid al-Fitr celebration is out our reports. In line with the period, we shall visit a couple of cities to see how the Salah is being celebrated. Now, when you think of the military, guns and wars come to mind. Well, there is a side to their operations that may come as a surprise to you. Then the issue of extreme violence against children is a topic that can never be exhausted. It is a sad trend, and several groups that are partnering to curb the trend will tell us their plans. The news will be read now by Joseph Johnson, then Newsline reports will follow immediately. It's over to Joseph in Abuja for that.
Thank you very much indeed, Becky. Hello, Eid Mubarak to you and welcome to the news. Of course, we have plenty of stories on Eid al-Fitr celebrations, but let's begin in Abuja because making sacrifices for the peaceful coexistence of the country and curtailing greed should be seen by Nigerians and Muslims in particular as a way of life. This was the message on the occasion of the Eid al-Fitr prayers in Abuja. Abdullahi Suleimani Aji reports.
The sound of the Iqama signaling the beginning of the Eid prayers, also known as the Feast of the Breaking of the Fast, Eid al-Fitr marks the end of the month-long Ramadan fast. Today's sermon echoed messages of caution and unity which have dominated the airspace for some time now. In his sermon at the National Eid Prayer Ground, Imam Kabir Adam admonished worshippers to avoid divisive remarks and promote unity. He also enjoined worshippers to be guided by the provisions of the Quran, specifically chapter 49 verse 13, which emphasizes peaceful coexistence.
We have to be patient in our lives. Secondly, we have to respect each other because all these are virtues we learn within the Ramadan. So I call on all Nigerians to respect the law of the land.
Worshippers were also encouraged to exploit the benefits of the new month of Shawwal.
The important lessons of the Ramadan, lessons of sacrifice, sacrifice to the nation, sacrifice for the benefit of those who are less endowed than we are, and sacrifice within ourselves so that we curtail excesses.
We are to join hands to train our youth, to make them to emulate what is good and live a peaceful life.
The occasion provided a platform to offer special prayers for Nigeria and her leaders. In Abuja, Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji, NTA News.
And the Eid al-Fitr was celebrated in Sokoto with the call on Muslims to sustain the lessons of Ramadan fast. Mohammed Nasri has the report.
Hundreds of Muslim faithfuls have converged on the Sokoto Central Eid praying ground to observe the 2-rakat prayer, which marked the end of Ramadan fast. Among the personalities at the Eid ground were Sultan Saad Abakar III, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol, former President Shehu Shagari, former state governors, traditional rulers, and people from all walks of life. The prayer was led by the chief imam of Sultan Bello Juma at Mosque, Imam Malami Bello Akwara. In his sermon, the imam charged Muslims to fear Allah, always engage in good deeds, and shun acts prohibited by Allah. He challenged them not to allow the lessons learned during the just concluded Ramadan fasting to perish. The Imam stressed the need for peaceful coexistence among adherents of various faiths. In a related development, Muslims, including Governor Abakar Atiku Bagudu, converged on Birnin Kebbi Idi praying ground to offer the 2 rakat prayer. The chief imam of Birnin Kebbi, Alhaji Ahmad Rufai Ibrahim Wala, led the prayer. Addressing hundreds of Muslims after the Idi prayer, Emir of Gondu, Alhaji Muhammad Ilyasu Bashar, called on Nigerians to embrace agriculture to fight poverty and unemployment. He said as government at all levels have turned attention to revitalization of agriculture with full commitment, Nigerians should support the effort wholeheartedly. Alhaji Muhammad Ilyasu Bashar also the avoidable crisis in the country. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTN.
From Yobe comes a report that with over 2 years of sustained normalcy in most parts of the state affected by insurgency, the day's peaceful Eid prayers attracted large gatherings of Muslim Ummah with significant numbers of returnees. Mustafa Yusuf Musa reports that there was heavy security presence at all Eid prayer grounds in the state.
An unprecedented gathering of the Muslim Ummah in Yobe State for the 2 Rakat Eid prayer, signifying the end of the Ramadan fast. Governor Ibrahim Gaidam, National Secretary of the All Progressive Congress, Muemala Buni, State Assembly members, and other top government functionaries observed the Eid prayer at the Yobe Mosque and Islam Center Eid ground in Damaturu, the state capital.
I asked the people of Yobe State to thank the Almighty Allah. We successfully did our prayers and dispatched, and there were no any negative report anywhere in this part of the state that something had happened.
In Potiskum town, the Emir of Fika and Chairman Yobe State Council of Chiefs, Alhaji Muhammad Abali, Ibn Muhammad Idrisa, had urged people to utilize the vast arable lands to engage in farming and also ensure their children do not associate with bad company. Reports from both the Emirate in Gashua town and other parts of the state indicate a peaceful Eid prayers with security personnel providing watch over the gathering. In Damaturu, I am Mustafa Yusuf Musa, NTA News.
Muslim Ummah in some states of the northern part of the country joined their counterparts worldwide to celebrate Eid al-Fitr to mark the end of Ramadan fast. Reports from various states indicate that the celebrations were generally peaceful. Lydia Bassi compiled the report.
States witnessed large turnout of worshippers for the 2 Rakat prayers. Abdullahi Mustafa reports that Muslims came out early for the prayers.
We urge people to continue staying together in peace.
I urge all Nigerians to love one another.
From Bauchi comes a report by Bature Bala Malumfashi, which says thousands of Muslims trooped to the Eid ground early in the morning. Allahu Akbar. Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masari has attributed the strength of Nigeria in Africa to its unity. Lawal Ahmed Matazu reports that this was in his Salah message to the people of the state. And from Yola, Rayanu Bala reports that the prayer was observed inside the mosque due to the rains. Governor Mohammed Umar Jibrila and Lamidu Adamawa Mohamadu Barkindu Aliu Mustafa were in attendance.
Who witnessed Eid prayers report that the need to continue in the teachings of Prophet Muhammad even after Ramadan fast was re-emphasized by the Chief Imam of Lagos. Garuba Akinola Ibrahim reports.
It's the end of the holy month of Ramadan as Muslim faithful gathered for the teachings and prayers the world over. The central message was on the need for Muslims to continue and grow in the teachings of Islam at all times, showing love to one another and living in peace and harmony with everyone. The Chief Imam of Lagos, Garuba Akinola Ibrahim, reminded the congregation that Islam is a religion of peace. He stressed that they must abide by the 5 pillars of Islam wholeheartedly, even after Ramadan.
To Almighty Allah to allow Muhammad Buhari to give him very good condition.
After the fasting, prudence, unity, love that are taught by Islam. That all these virtues are still there.
We all have a purpose for being here, and that purpose for us as a Nigerian is for us to join hands with government. If only we do this, the society will be better for all of us.
After the Eid prayer, Muslim faithful left with the belief that their ibadah has been accepted by Allah according to the tenets of Islam. In Lagos, Abolore Ogbara, NTA News.
Also, Muslims in the southern and north-central region of the country joined their counterparts the world over to observe the Eid al-Fitr prayers, marking the end of Ramadan fast. Olajide Bello, who put together the Eid prayers from some of the states, reports that the celebrations were generally peaceful.
Muslim faithful in their numbers converged on Lokoja Township Stadium for the Eid prayer. Bello was among the worshippers who observed the 2 rak'ah prayers.
Allahu Akbar. I urge every citizen to celebrate and have a reflection and continue to pray for this government, pray for Nigeria.
In Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, Governor Ibikunle Amosun joined hundreds of Muslim faithful for the 2 rak'ah prayers at the Lantero Eid ground. Governor Amosun, after the prayers, urged Nigerians, irrespective of religious creed or status, to see to a united Nigeria as a collective responsibility to promote and protect.
So I think that Nigeria as a whole should just be well put together so that all of us can be happy where we are.
And in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, the Chief Imam Alhaji Soliu Bashir, who led the congregational prayers, admonished Muslims to avoid insightful speeches capable of disrupting the peace of the nation. Also in Ado-Ekiti, President General, League of Imams and Alfas in Southwest, Edo and Delta states, Alhaji Jamiu Kewilere reminded Muslims on the need to always reflect the lessons learned during the holy month of Ramadan in their daily endeavors.
We should continue to pray for the peace of this country.
And from Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, comes the report about a message of peace, unity and indivisibility of Nigeria were the central focus at this year's celebrations. Jababari Waike reports that the celebration was peaceful.
Now, wife of the president, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, joined Muslim Ummah in observing the 2 rakat congregational prayers in the spirit of Eid al-Fitr celebration. Mrs. Buhari attended the prayers at Guards Brigade Mambila Barracks.
The 2 rakat Eid prayer, which commenced at about 9:30 Sunday morning, was led by the Chief Imam of Guards Brigade Mambila Barracks, Abuja, Major Hamisu Mustafa, the wife of the President, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, accompanied by the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Dr. Hajosani, her close associates and the members of her family joined the congregation in praying and thanking God for the successful completion of Ramadan, as well as praying for fruitful years ahead. While felicitating with Nigerians, the wife of the President, through the Senior Special Assistant to the President, urged Nigerians to sustain the spirit in praying for the President and for the peace, unity and development of the country.
Her Excellency Mrs. Muhammad Buhari, the wife of the President, is extending her congratulations and best wishes to all Nigerians and the Muslim Ummah for the successful conclusion of our religious obligation during the holy months of Ramadan. She also requests Nigerians to continue with their prayers for Nigeria and for Mr. President. She also appealed to Nigerians to be patriotic in whatever they are doing, and we look forward unity, peace and development in this country.
Thereafter, the wife of the President hosted the wife of the Vice President, Dulapo Shinbajo, and her close associates to a reception in the spirit of Ramadan for sober reflection. They jointly prayed for peaceful coexistence and indivisibility of the country. From the State House, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Let's turn our attention to London as well, where the importance of forgiveness, love peace and unity topped messages as Muslims in the diaspora joined others. Bilkisu Abdurazak Odoye reports.
At the Burgess Park Eid Prayer Ground, Peckham and Al-Huda Mosque, Hackney, clerics enjoined the faithful to continue in the spirit of Ramadan with acts of forgiveness, kindness and love to all, irrespective of color, tribe and religion, as an example to mankind.
Allah commands you to be just, Allah commands you to do good, and Allah also commands you to, to be socially responsible.
Love ourselves, whatever religion he or she is doing, it doesn't matter.
Worshippers expressed their joy at witnessing the end of yet another Ramadan fast, urging fellow Muslims to remember the lessons learned.
There's no love, there's nothing. There's nothing we can do.
Islam means peace, so we should try as much as possible to tolerate one another.
Eid al-Fitr celebration is held at the end of the Ramadan fast, and at both places of worship, all was calm. In London, Bilkisu Abdurazak Odoye, NTA News.
And back home, during the 30-day Ramadan fast, the lessons of humility, sacrifice, love and selfless service are expected to be imbibed by Muslim faithful. Timothy Yusuf reports on the lessons that Nigerians expect those who partook in this spiritual exercise to exhibit.
Of Ramadan afforded Muslims all over the world an opportunity to show compassion, mercy and kindness to others. Imam Muhammad Nuru Khalid of the National Assembly Central Mosque led his congregation in observing this deep religious exercise. To him, this year's observance calls for sober reflection, particularly on national unity and restoration of good moral values.
The lesson we learn include believing in destiny. We have believed that Nigeria is a destiny designed by the Almighty. We were together for more than 100 years. Why should we now change that destiny? If there are among us, we have to come to the table and discuss them.
We must be able to see how people suffer, because that 30 days that you are fasting bring out in you to see those that don't have food to eat.
Others believe that it is a period to share in the burden of others and be the answer to their prayers.
It's a big opportunity for people to repent from the wrongdoing they have engaged themselves in the past.
We have to make more effort in showing togetherness and unity. And I think a lot of the Muslims would take that away from this.
Some faithful also used the opportunity to pray for the quick recovery of President Muhammadu Buhari.
We are thanking Allah that what is totally the nation in Allah and answer to it.
The Christian faithful also share in the mood of the moment in the belief that religion is a uniting factor and all about love and tolerance.
What Nigeria should learn is about unity, one faith, one God, one country, one people.
We are all Nigerians, both Christian and Muslims, so we have to live together.
The call on Nigerians to rededicate themselves to God and serve humanity in any position they find themselves. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
For 1 month, Muslims shared and showed the world the beauty of the religion of Islam through one of its most powerful instruments, the Ramadan. The month of piety and charity bestows some spirituality on various acts. Ahmed Ambali in this special report looks at one of its cardinal elements, charity, through the iftar and how it can help reshape the society for the better.
1 month, one people, one faith. Ramadan espouses the very best of it. During the month, Muslims reflect on the core of their being, on humanity and acts that further strengthen the bonds of brotherhood. And no act reflects this better than the sharing of food to break the fast, known as iftar. All over the world, food banks take over mosques and designated areas, providing meals for those with the means and others not so endowed. When the 1 month-long period of fasting during Ramadan comes to an end, Muslim faithfuls who have engaged in various acts of worship would surely miss the month. But for those who get free meals during the period of iftar, they'll be missing Ramadan for an entirely different reason.
Well, when it ends, surely we must meet something big. But if the money is available, because this is what they call at 7, what really big problem in Nigeria, I would really like it to be continued if the money is there till the next fast again.
A valid concern, one which underscores the importance of carrying on the act of charity after Ramadan. The organizers of this food bank at the Al-Habibiyah Mosque in Abuja say they have plans to carry on the act of sharing beyond Ramadan, but in a way that helps to empower beneficiaries.
This Al-Habibiyah Food Bank has given rise to another program called Al-Habibiyah Zakat and Empowerment Foundation. Today, inshallah, we have disbursed nothing less than 45 million, and we have raised some people. I've seen some of our beneficiaries that have built house based on what we gave.
The iftar is but one of the lessons of Ramadan, but scholars say it is a suitable starting point. For leaders and the led, Ramadan, they say, must have all the values and virtues permeating all the remaining months of the year. In Abuja, Ahmed Ambali, NTA News.
In the meantime, Yemi Osinbajo says the Buhari administration would remain committed to using the vast resources in improving the lives of Nigerians. The acting president, while receiving the Federal Capital Territory Muslim community on Salah Homage, emphasized the need for national unity for the nation's resources to be fully explored. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Welcoming the FCT Muslim community led by the Minister Bello Muhammad, Senator Philip Aduda and the Deputy Chief Imam of the Central Mosque, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo explains that the President has always emphasized that as brothers and sisters, Nigerians must work together despite the difference in faith.
It is so important that we work together to make sure that our country is able to take care of its millions of people. And this is what God expects of us. God expects us to take care of the poor, to take care of the suffering, to ensure that we use government resources only in such a way as to enhance the good of the majority of our people. That is what is expected of us.
The acting president urges Nigerians to be desirous of doing what is right, as the federal government is committed to making life better for all Nigerians.
The important thing about the fast, the most important thing about it, is that it must draw us closer to the principles, the high principles of love towards one another, principles of integrity, principles of service to our nation and to the poorest and the weakest amongst us.
We need to communicate among ourselves. We need to consider ourselves as brothers and sisters. And we need to be very proactive.
Prayers were offered for the quick recovery of the president. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Now to talk more on the Eid al-Fitr celebration, in the studio, Ustaz Abubakar Mohammed, member of Abuja Ulama. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Assalamu alaikum.
All right. I should begin by saying Eid Mubarak to you.
Yeah, thank you, and to all our brothers and sisters as well.
Very well. Now, the Muslims have just concluded the Ramadan fast.
Now,
yes. Talk us through the significance of this act of worship.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. Ramadan that Allah has brought to us is one of the pillars of Islam. Ramadan and Hajj is one of what Allah is using as a unifying force. The significances cannot be overemphasized. One of it is that the issue is that Allah said, As-sawmu yawma tasumun wal fitr yawma tuftirun. You will begin on the day everybody is fasting, and you will end when everybody is ending. Here, the Prophet ﷺ is emphasizing the discipline, instilling the discipline of following the leadership. There is beyond for you to think that is an ordinary act of worship. It's beyond that. You have to wait. When you see it, you have to tell, and that is what the Prophet has shown. Show it, the leadership will tell you what to do. Without the leadership, there is a problem. That is number one. Number two, one of the significances when you go through, then the Prophet ﷺ emphasized the issue of feeding the needy. That is why when you fast, the Prophet said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, As-sawmu li wa ana ajzi bi. Fasting is for me. I am the one that is giving reward to it. And then in it is embedded that when you feed somebody, Allah will give you the reward of his own fasting. That shows that one of the fundamental things that we have learned inside Ramadan is for us to give out, to serve others, to serve humanity, to help the dejected and the needy. And then the third one is that Ramadan came to emphasize recitations. The reason why emphasizing recitations of the Holy Quran is there, because minha shir'atan wa minhaja. The Quran is the constitution, is the guide for all. So in Ramadan you will sit down and read and ponder over it, so that you and I can remember and see how you are supposed to thread the path of life for the remaining of the year. Because Ramadan is a school, is an institution whereby you are receiving training and retraining of your own soul and your own body. Then the third one is when the significances that come with Ramadan is that after you do that, then you should be feeding. The feeding of the needy, the emphasis is much. The Prophet ﷺ ajwadun nas. Amma wa kana ajwadu ma yakunu fi Ramadan. He was the most generous of humanity. Yeah. He was more generous during Ramadan.
Yeah, sorry to cut in there. You talked about during this be trained and retrained.
Yes.
That to me, I think that there should be some virtues expected of Muslims to imbibe. So can you tell us what are those virtues, Muslims are supposed to imbibe during this period?
So many virtues are there embedded in this. For example, the Prophet said, even if somebody is fighting you or he is coming to fight you, you should say, I am fasting. Why? That is your level of tolerance is being raised in the process of the training that Ramadan is giving.
Okay, can you relate it to, the national affairs?
Yes, of course.
And how can it be sustained?
Yeah, you can sustain it after Ramadan. That is why at the end of Ramadan, the Prophet ﷺ recommended that you should do Zakat al-Fitr. When you do Zakat al-Fitr and then there is lessons, then everybody is supposed to partake. When you are doing fasting, when you give food to 10 or 20, you will get so many reward of so many fasting.
Okay.
And then that reward, innama yuwaffa sabiruna ajrahum bighayri hisab.
Thank you very much, Ustaz Abubakar Mohammed. I'm sorry, we actually are in want of time now, so we just have to pause there.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Yes, I will say Iduna Jami'an Mubarak.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, I've been speaking with Ustaz Abubakar Mohammed. He's member of Abuja Ulama. Now let's pick up on some of the other stories for you. The need for Nigerians to be more patriotic, united as well, and shun all forms of ethnic agitations for continued peace, growth and development has again been brought to the fore. This was the crux of the sermon by Reverend Levi Johnson at the Assemblies of God Church in Abuja. Olajide Bello has details.
Praises and thanks.
Let's find out and let's forge ahead. It's one nation. People stake their life for it, and we that are the offspring, let's move on.
And the best way to live is to accept it, accept our unity in diversity, celebrate one another, and go on as a nation. And we will be one of the greatest nations in the world if we are just united.
Special prayers were also offered for the quick recovery of President Muhammadu Buhari and for sustained peace and unity in Nigeria. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Parishioners of the Foursquare Gospel Church came out in their numbers to show gratitude to God for His goodness in their lives and to seek ultimate gracious mercies on the women group of the church. This was at the grand finale of a week-long 2017 Foursquare Women International Rally, which held at the church camp in Ogun State.
It was a day set aside by the Foursquare Women International to offer soulful renditions of praise and worship to demonstrate the goodness of God in the life of the Foursquare Women group. The week-long June rally featured various spiritually uplifting activities, including choir ministration, language varieties, Holy Communion session, and prophetic prayers. Testimonies and baby dedication, as well as alabaster messages and services were integral parts of the Foursquare Women International rally.
Look at it, what can we do for women redemption, for saving us? So we always come to appreciate the Lord in dances, in jubilation, to jubilate, to rejoice before Him.
The General Overseer Foursquare Gospel Church, Reverend Felix Medoye, who lauded the consistency and sustained effort by the women group, said the program portends great spiritual benefits for families and by extension the country at large.
God has made them so that they will be helpmeet to their various husbands.
The theme of the 2017 Foursquare Women International June Rally, Glorious Manifestation, is taken from Isaiah 43, verse 5 to 7.
Now, House on the Rock Cathedral along the Abuja Airport Road was Sunday afternoon gutted by fire, putting the quality of the entire structure to question. Timothy Yusuf reports that no casualty was recorded in the inferno.
I saw smoke from the upper end of the building, so I was like, the church was burning, so we tried running down there, called the fire services, and they came.
The inferno, according to the pastor in charge, Albert Abebe, was a rude shock to him and the entire church members, as 2 services were run shortly before the incident, although not in the high-rising structure, which he said was under renovation.
I got a call at about 10 minutes after 2. Interestingly, I was still in the building. I just left, and then before I got home, I got a call that there was fire in the building.
Officers of the Federal Fire Service, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and some other security agencies' prompt intervention was observed to have been responsible for quick put-out of the inferno.
By the grace of God, we were able to contain the fire.
Almost every section is affected for now, and that's why we said that nobody should go in there now, because the integrity of the building is not good for now.
While the cause of the fire remains unknown, investigation is to be conducted into what might have caused the incident. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
Let's talk sports now. Progress Comprehensive College, Osun State, has won the 2017 Coca-Cola Under-15 National Football Championship. Adeola Mokive, who was at Onikong Stadium, reported Coca-Cola also introduced an educational trust fund worth 22 million naira for the top 3 teams, as well as 2 million prize monies.
A total of 110,000 teams from over 5,000 secondary schools across the country competed. Progress Comprehensive College, Osun State in black, beat Owerri City College, Imo State in red by a lone goal to emerge national champions.
We thank you very much, because you give me more experience in this stage.
Next year, we put our effort so that we can play in the finals and win.
The losers' final saw tournament favourite Fosla Academy Abuja in red lose to Government College Katsina in white by a lone goal. Coca-Cola says beyond football, a good education plays a vital role in molding character, expanding their knowledge base, and get them ready for the future.
This year, the top 3 teams, each of the players got scholarships. Each of the schools got prizes. In addition to that, each of the regional state schools, the winners of the state championships, they also received leave-behinds of pitch refurbishment.
We want to create a platform where soccer talents in Nigeria can actually abound.
Guests commended Coca-Cola for engaging the youths meaningfully.
More students are taking part in sports. That means a better future for our football.
Ambassadors of the brand also speak.
My involvement to make sure that I can see the talents there.
Passed on the 17 players were discovered here. It's a win-win for the nation.
Individual prizes were presented to outstanding players in Lagos. Adeola Omokive, NTA News.
And Nigeria Women Premier League adjusts fixtures ahead of second round as African champions exit FIFA Confederations Cup in Russia. Amanzi Marcus reports.